afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, another riveting, amazing Propagandacast with your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero Strike Defender over the Fatherland, of here to 1 vs 1 on Langraskaya. Also, fun fact, today is my birthday, so happy birthday to me. In the south, we got Syraw fighting for the Wehrmacht of Germany, Deutschland, fighting here with the 352nd Infantry Division. West and north, we got Chun fighting for America, Freedom, Democracy. The 1st Armored Division, we got Elite Troops, we got Lightning War, and we got Jaeger Armor here for Syraw, with Chun with Recon Support Armor Company and Heavy Cavalry, Triple Infantry for him, Double Infantry with Panzerfaust Bolters here for Syraw, Grenadier MD42 and Double Rifleman start. So far, standard stuff here from both sides, nothing earth-shaking nor world-shattering here being displayed in that sense. Even sandbagging in this point, which is actually a bit interesting. Normally don't see that point actually being hit. I mean, technically it's kind of a carve point, since even if this is sort of the main carve point, you actually need any of these 2 points to actually get this point connected, which is a bit of a fun feature of the map. Still a bit fun to see that there from Syraw moving out westwards. Chun sweeping eastwards. Tank types up here, but a few points secured from those nasty krauts, those damnable Nazis. Riflemen up here on the west side. Quick poking about here with the Grenadiers. We got the MD42 bagging up, covering the area. More Grenadiers on the way here for Syraw of the 352nd Infantry Division. Resistance creeping up, their carbines clenched tightly in their hands as they scan the horizon for anything remotely non-American, but more specifically something German, since, you know, they might spot a Frenchman. 3rd Rifleman on the way there for Chun. So basically both players focusing on the infracourse machine guns backing up here for Syraw. He might want to get that MD4 to further support the Grenadiers. 2nd Grenadiers spot their arriving. Popping in there, might be able to spot the rifle. Interesting note here by the Syraw's focusing more on the center. So far not made a move towards the fuel, which as the Wehrmacht can be a bit risky. If you allow the opponent to get a fuel lead or you can struggle a lot. In particular, the Americans and the Brits in particular in this department can be risky, since they do take up faster. And the Americans in particular do also have the ability to snowball pretty hard. So there are some risks associated here with the Syraw's movements. There you go. First spotted here. MD4 opening on the release. Trying to open up with the rifle, but the rifle too fast. Too slippery. Grenadiers was rifle. It's going to need support, otherwise that's not going to be one engagement. Grenadiers holding back here. Could have maybe overwhelmed them with numbers, but decides to fall back. Pioneers with MD42 support moving westwards. Grenadiers falling back. Might try to draw the Americans into negative cover and shoot them to bits. Looks like Chun is not taking that bait. 3rd Grenadier squad are there for Syraw. A rifleman crossing her here, and there we go. He actually did take the bait right to the 2 Grenadiers here. And there you go. Joe quickly falls dead here in the face of the Grenadiers' sharp rifle fire up north. Pioneers are lacking machine gun support. Seems like Syraw here is a bit unsure which this fight to actually fight out, and so is retracting machine gun support for the Pioneers, which is a bit of a poorly timed thing there. Pearson going for the point again, coming to fight from the right Grenadiers here. Rifle occupying the house and leading Syraw's machine gun to have to deal with that in theory. And here still in the east we got Rifle trying to move up. They're getting shot by the Grenadiers as well. Chun getting a bit aggressive. In the west, Rifle being shot at by the Grenadiers as well there, preventing the fuel there from falling into his hands. Lots of back and forth here. Chun is taking up there. We got the platoon command post out here for Chun. America, freedom, democracy. Rifle falling back towards the victory point there. Victory point wise, we got pretty close there between the two so far there, with both Chun are getting a slight chipping away there at Syraw and the 352nd Infantry Division. Back here, nothing further going on there. Though we got a 4th Grenadier squad up. There's a heavy infantry build, though personally I would recommend another machine gun, since that way you can sort of help control the infantry much more aggressively. Plus you can sort of leapfrog ahead using the machine guns. That way it actually allows yourself to fight more aggressively, because the Grenadiers in most cases are not going to fight one-on-one equally with the rifle for obvious reasons. So that way you just use the machine guns to have engagement to favour you much more. And of course you make it hard for them to move back, and more importantly hard for them to take back territory if you do it correctly. So he's still moving about here with a lot of Grenadiers. I mean, if he's going for a lot of them, he's either aiming for elite troops or lightning war, since obviously he wants some upgrades. And in this case, whereas the Americans T-33s do tend to be very nice upgrades to have. I'm trying to away there for Chun. They've certainly won a bit of ground there in terms of the player meta after the buff to the M20 utility car. Finally gained back the western fuel pump. He's not going to be behind Chun here. We do have take up there for Syraw. Bit of skirmish here, Grenadiers moving up. No doctrine yet, we're here for him. No light machine guns either. So let's see what it ends up with here. But he's finally getting a fuel point. They could also threaten the eastern fuel point since Chun is getting a bit focused here on the west side. So even if he's winning here, he could then also make progress there. Oh, never mind, we got Rifleman in there trying to stop Syraw's movement there. Very good. Flamethrower punishment hard here for Chun to hold ground, and more importantly to dig in. Utility car done, 50 car following up here for Chun as well. And there we go, armored skirts on the way. Back here, need to get that light mechanized company up soon. But a doctrinal choice here I think would be a good idea here for Syraw. Heading for the eastern fuel point there. Nicely dug in, looks like Chun was not considering that possibility at all, so might be Syraw can actually cut off Chun from a bit of fuel. Like to make a nice company up to the 352nd Infantry Division, courtesy of a nearby Panzer Division, providing a bit of vehicles to back things up. Was not uncommon, in fact, as in the later stage of war for a Panzer Division to be parceled out to sort of provide backup and fire brigades for the front line. Fun fact, so there you go, like to make a nice company up here for Syraw. And when it is they're routed, others moving up, 2-2 following up there for Syraw. Skirmish here, still no doctrinal choice and still no sign of any upgrades for the Grenadiers. That probably should be a priority for Syraw, because the faster they can get them upgraded, the faster they can actually fight more favourably versus the Riflemen. Being pursued here, Grenadiers in the middle of the open, need to retreat and get back. 2-2 almost on, there you go, flamethrower platoons pushing out the Lieutenant, machine gun holding back I think a bit too far, could stand to move a bit closer to the front line and be used a bit more actively. 2-2 arriving, as for Chun, good pressuring hit. Noting no mines from the M20. Always a good thing to consider, since those can be quite debilitating for a German player. Can take out a light vehicle, and of course they can immobilize any sort of heavier than a 2-2-2. Which also has the advantage if you don't catch it with an anti-tank gun or a tank destroyer. And in most cases will straight up be a death sentence, even for the heaviest of tanks. So for Chun to get some of those mines done, be pretty great. He's getting pretty aggressive with the M20. In fact, he's moving right into every Panzerfaust available to Syraw. Though he's finally getting upgrades up. There's a cat actually Panzerfausted to death, though he does need to. We got the 2-2 on the scene, and 9 additional tank weapons here for Chun. Let's back things up. Looks like the racing squad took some heavy losses there. Lieutenant's also close to being wiped out. Chun nearby getting murdered. There we go, almost got them 20. The Lieutenant bit the dust as well. Chun taking some heavy casualties here for America. And there you go, the M20 was blown to bits, but he was able to preserve the M20 vehicle crew, retaining of course an extra unit, and more important, the bazooka. Though obviously that does not render them bulletproof in the face of 2 Grenadier squads with light machine guns. Back here, bunker up. Bit short munitions there for the medics though. So that for now is just a toe on the ground. Ambulance with weapon racks on the way there for Chun, very good. And we got the captain as well. Probably for anti-tank guns, so of course he might be planning a stall for the Pershing. Not sure I'd be a huge fan of that. You can see the Syraw finally sort of, you know, bites the bullet and goes for a second MG42 to help contain Chun's infantry hordes. Definitely a good thing, though he could have had that out sooner. Maybe instead of, I think, a 4th Grenadier squad. I feel like if you got 2 MG42s and 3 Grenadiers, you've got a pretty flexible force composition that can be used aggressively and defensively. Offensively, defensively. Anyways, he might also want to consider some Panzer Grenadiers, as long as Chun doesn't upgrade his infantry. Upgraded, the Panzer Grenadiers work quite well, so that's also an idea there for Syraw to consider. That he needs to get the fuel back. Though theoretically, if he goes for elite troops, you get some Stormtroopers up, which could also work out pretty well. We'll have to see if they then actually consider some with maybe the G43s, which they get 4 off, which obviously increases their firepower notably, though personally I'd still go for the submachine guns in all cases. Our medic bunker up here, more pioneers away there for Syraw. Probably for some, maybe some minesweepers, maybe he's worried about the mines there, of course just up repairs and other things. But we got bars up there en masse for Chun, for America. MG42, that's the 50 caliber here. Pulling off a nice flank, then the machine gun acting as bait, and there you go, riding the 50 caliber crew, kicking out poor Joe there, already dead. Gets a nice hit there with the boots. And we got barbed wire here to sort of slightly deny cover there to try anything. Chun is clearly lining up for Sam, but the question of course is what is Chun lining up for? In terms of doctrinal choices, we've got nothing so far from either player. We've hit the 10-minute mark. Usually around the 20-minute mark. I'd say we're really missing out. I haven't chosen doctrine by then. So we'll have to see what ends up here between these two players. Captain advancing up here in the west. We've got to push there for the fuel pump. Grenadiers in a bad spot. And that's going to be what? It's going to be what against Syraw. Trying to do too much. His Grenadiers bite the bullet terminally. Got a loss for the German army. As the Grenadiers find themselves annihilated. Victory pumps. Whilst a nice lead here for Chun over Syraw. He's got a skirmishing here, grabbing points as well. MD42 being slowly overwhelmed here by Chun's force. He needs to retreat down as soon as possible, and he's already on it. Very good. Two departing coming far as Chun's advance continues. No mortars, no smoke screens, obviously heavy cavalry smoke. So a few things there that Chun could consider. No take up yet for Syraw. They obviously can't quite there. He's been behind Chun on fuel. Though he's certainly trying his best. There we go. Fifth opening up on Syraw's eastern push in the centre though. He's seemingly battling here under the sheer weight of Chun's assault. Apparently was able to stave off disaster and almost gets 2 wipes. That would have been impressive that he got one rifle to take out both of them. That would have been absolutely amazing and absolutely horrifying for Chun though. Absolutely the stuff of nightmares. Got a wipe actually. That's great here. For Syraw that is. For Chun obviously it's horrid. And I think another Eastern squad bit the dust there. Rather than getting slaughtered here by heavy machine gun fire from the light and the heavy machine guns. Fifth Cavalry covering up there, and we got the battalion command post being upgraded here for Chun. That'll probably mean push for Shermans. Let's see what else we can consider. And we got the first doctoral choice of this Syraw, and he goes for elite troops, calling in the mighty Stormtroopers. Adding the MP40s there. Though obviously he shouldn't be using those inside a building. They got quite a hard range. He needs to get close with them, so he's better off trying to flank up or ambush with them, hiding about in some shrubbery and then unleashing hell with the MP40. We'll have to see how it works out with that. Troops moving up straight to the MD42. Nice position there by Syraw. Might be able to pull off a flank here, creep up there, then suddenly get behind. There we go. Or just pop through the house, I guess. I mean, that's one way of doing it as well. They should remember to allow them to fire. He doesn't. Oh, there we go. But there you go. Bit too slow about it still. Pushed away the 5th Cav and ultimately caused the collapse of Chun's eastern assault. Getting some nice work in there with those MP40s. Rifling up with a bars in the west there. Lines looking a bit more contentious here for Syraw. As for Chun, he's struggling a bit here with the map control. I mean, he can make some good pushes, but if he can't hold it, I mean, Syraw's just going to gobble it right back up. At which point, Chun's just lost himself a bunch of men. So it's a bit risky here, and Chun probably needs to consider some more machine guns or something else here. And a Doctrine would still be an absolutely smashing choice. Damaging from the 2-2 rifle routed. Got mines there prepared, but had to stop them making up for the eastern fuel point. Syraw there should be taking up. Yes, indeed. MD42 on its own, more or less on the east here. Vehicle crew going straight for the 2-2, going to try and finish it off, but Sam the Pioneers bar the way. And we do actually have mines from beside Syraw. I mean, Chun so far hasn't laid down any mines, I think, but in this regard it does show that Syraw respects his opponent and wants to be ready just in case his opponent has been laying down mines. Plus, I mean, he does go for any of the Doctrine. I mean, several of them do offer him some way of laying down mines. The minesweepers could prove useful. So hardly a bad choice at all by Syraw. Even if it never may pay off. Wait, what? From MP40s to the G43s, you can do that? What? And he's actually doing it? That's a first. I mean, I guess it makes sense, like, but just seems weird. Always smoke grenade forming on the centre victory point, nice. So they went from MP40s to the G43s. Still seems a bit disturbing to me on some level. That's just me. Oh, hiding out there. And the west, big push here with a bar wheeling around against the Grenadiers light machine gun. Going up, hit covered by the 5th caliber. Got an MB42 covering the Stormtroopers. And there you go, that's going to open up first in the rifle, but oh, incendiary grenade here as well. Problem is that gives the weight in front of the 5th caliber then. Though we can pop a smoke grenade here, or at least another smoke grenade. We'll have to see if Syraw remembers to do that one. Looks like he's not. In the west, Germans flying back here, drawing the riflemen to the open, making this as a gun party with the light machine guns. We'll obviously actually upgrade some of his remaining grenadiers with G45s, but there you go. Chun's got his tank, the M43 Sherman, ready to bash some crowds apart, and Syraw's only got 1 pack 40 to stop that, and he's got an MD42 backed up by, well, pioneers. Showed up things there. Western front might collapse under the weight of Chun's Sherman. Pack shoots and spectacularly misses, heading into empty ground. Pioneers moving up here before the current, but that's going to be around here, but the Sherman firing high explosive rounds. Chun is clearly not worried about the possibility of armor here from Syraw, who has yet to get the support co-op. That out a bit faster, maybe. Yeah, he could have a Stugat possibly by now. But of course, the question, of course, if he would be aware of he needed one. But anyways, Sherman rolling about here. 1 kill so far. And, well, that quickly went up to 4 kills as the Pioneers were shattered, broken limbs and bodies. All that is left in the wake of this tank. Pack for the land, finally lands a hit there, piercing the side armor of the Sherman. Smoke's going down there, very good, we'll use it over there. Damage engine from the Panzerfaust. Grenadiers almost annihilating. There we go, using the smoke to pull ahead. He's got grenades up for his rifle, very good. Nice use of the goals. Got a lot of angry Germans with a lot of guns, including the Stormtroopers, while they now eventually too with Grenadiers for the physical. Apparently they're thinking the smoke is a break time, but there you go. Captain, rather than being rowdy, Chun getting good here, the Stormtroopers. They're shooting on the retreating ones rather than rifling right next to them. Bit of a mistake, I think, there by Syraw. He's going to have to shoot the Stormtroopers now. The assault continues up here. Good use of grenades again. This smoke shooting really proving, I think, critical here for Chun in breaking up Syraw's stranglehold on the sense of victory point. In fact, more or less forcing him back into the base. Even if the Sherman can't support, just the smoke screen there made a huge difference. That's, you know, one way just to highlight how big of an impact a good smoke screen can have on any engagement. So thumbs up there to Chun. Thumbs up. So Paul McCall, finally going up. If Syraw, he's a bit short on manpower, like it would be more if he reinforces his troops. It looks like he is not. He realized he needs to get some armor first, otherwise that Sherman is constantly going to be bleeding out on manpower anyways at a very cost efficient rate, since it doesn't cost any manpower to repair a tank. So yeah, until then he's got a large chunk of his infantry forces on basically hold, just to get out that tank so he can, you know, actually slightly preserve manpower at a better pace. More reasons out here for Chun, probably help with repairs. Possibly he might also start to get a bit worried about enemy mines, or he just wants bazookas. Alright, what do you need us for? Mine sweeping, rear area clearing, storming buildings, just bazookas. Yup. Not again. Panzer on the way there for Syraw. And the west we've got the infantry defending the fuel point from American encroachment. Big 2 points wise, Chun still continues to enjoy lead here with Syraw, and the 352nd Infantry Division, which by the way held the beaches at Omaha, did quite well. That. They were also repeatedly throughout the fighting until they found depleted, reinforced by different types of units, including a sort of Sturm Brigade. I can't remember the name of it, but basically a lot of units on bicycles essentially. They're reasonably well trained, and whatever was nearby, highlighting a bit the German flexibility when it came to replacing troops at times. Jumping up, almost getting the Grenadiers. That's likely going to be a full wipe here, unless Syraw, in fact, absolutely had no luck. Just to ensure that RNG's made sure he was displeased with Syraw, he actually had the bazooka, which is already really inaccurate versus infantry, get the kill on retreating unit. That is an incredibly small chance, but Chun, thanks to the power of Iron Jesus, got that hit. So remember, say your prayers. Panzerfaust against the Sherman, landing a nice hit. In the east, we've got troops here absolutely getting hammered by incendiary armor piercing rounds. Nice work there by Syraw. It's a bit of an overlooked ability, but it can be really crucial at times for breaking up enemy attacks and just sometimes doing really nasty things to the enemy overall. Panzer IV falling back, noting no machine gun on top there. That's definitely something you actually want in your tanks. Like, machine guns and tanks actually adds a notable amount of firepower to them. And can that way actually help a lot as an infantry. So good work there by Chun, of course, upgrading his. But, you know, as soon as Syraw does get the munitions, he should upgrade a Pinamut machine gun on his Panzer IV. Right now, the Syraw and the 352nd on the defense, we got their Stormtroopers ahead with their 40-43s. Finally getting some damage in, got a kill there, and a concussive grenade. But technically, that had just been a Steelhunter without the fragmentation sleeve, which at that point was just a pure concussive grenade. Which was initially how it was designed, you know, as mentioned, to help clear out trenches and the likes, and in that sense, a concussive grenade is a bit safer for you to throw since you know you're not getting hit by fragments. And the trenches were pretty small, so it's going to get the job done. But obviously, you know, as Warfighter advanced, they kind of need the fragmentation bits on it, so they got a sort of sleeve they could attach around it, at which point it did become a bit nastier. So a little fun fact there. Still no Pinamut machine gun here. Stormtroopers running out there, hiding about. 5 kills. But of course they do get self-healing at Veteran G1, which is a pretty handy ability, truth be told. Fun fact, back in Companies 1, Veteran G1 for the Wehrmacht pretty much gave all of the units, all the infantry units, self-healing. I miss that. And he was driving up against the Stormtroopers, getting off some good hits with the G33s. Cat and Ravner dropping slowly. But there's a massive push here by Chun. Not spread out then. A good machine gun position here could really ruin their Chun's assault. But Ballet still has yet to go for a doctrine. I mean, that's starting to look a bit worrisome there for Chun. Definitely something you should be choosing soon. Heavy cavalry gun could be useful. Armor could be useful. Even, you know, recon support. Cluster mines, paratroopers, pathfinders, greyhounds, raid tactics. A lot of options there for Chun, but something needs to happen soon, I think. There we go, we got Jackson up backing up here, Chun's tank, making things much more hazardous for Syraw's Panzerkampfwagen, gaining a nice hit there, but taking a lot of damage return. Smoke screen deployed as it gets out of there. Really, by 1944, they were not been using those types of smoke discharges, they were fire hazards. Pushing back the Pioneers here. Jackson falling back, and over here we got a bit of healing reinforcement going for Chun, still no Doctor. Grenadiers moving eastwards, no G for the fleet. We've got a Sturmgeschütz here for Syraw, problem response here to the armoured build up there by Chun, in which case Sturmgeschütz is a reasonably good choice if you know how to handle it, and remember to get 2 of them. First armoured division keeping up the pressure against the Krauts. Grenadiers, Stormtroopers here in the east, holding off smaller American pushes, but nothing decisive. And some minor skirmishing with the fuel point again here. So it is definitely hurting in the fuel department. There we go, light machine guns, G33s, 50 calibers all firing out. There goes Stormtroopers flanking the 50 caliber. There we go, that's going to be a big problem here for Chun, and that's going to completely be this turtle fall apart here. Almost got to thin the Stormtroopers. And there goes Chun moving in. Sturmgeschütz arriving here for Syraw. And there goes Stormtroopers hit here by the Sherman, gaining Veteran 2 foot. In fact, Stormtroopers down to Veteran at half health, though they do gain the ace level. So he needs to retreat them soon because they've been absolute shame to they'll get them wasted. There we go. Could have maybe popped the smoke grenade here to help cover up the retreat a bit more. I suppose if it works out for Syraw, then it's all fun and dandy. That is pretty risky. But there you go. Sherman rolling hit Sherman nearby, or Panzer IV nearby to cover it up. Pioneers going to use homing gun, second pack 40 for Syraw to back up on top of the Stug. So Syraw is taking the enemy armoured threat very seriously, as he should. Certainly a lot of players, I think, at times focus too much on other elements and just ignore the enemy tanks and then usually get punished for it. So nice to see Syraw here, though. We should grab that fuel point back and focus a bit more on the victory points. Right now there's a massive lead here for Chun. 442 versus 153. Veteran 2 Sherman here versus the Panzer IV, closing Veteran 2 on that. Panzer IV Sturmgeschütz is for some reason coming just the west side with no support there. At least not supporting in the east. Second pack 40 up right there, getting some nasty hits in the Pioneers. And is this sneaky back Panzerfaust on that show? Maybe not. They're just retreating. Heavy fighting here in the west. The Stug is just enjoying a nice time, wondering what was called to the front. Stormtroopers good to go once more for Syraw. And up here, lots of healing reinforcement with Chun. Still no sign of a doctrine. It's a bit amazing how close or far we're getting to the match here, and there's just, you know, no sign of doctrine there for Chun. So indicating for all of his tactical prowess, strategically, he does seem to be not quite there. And that's probably one of Syraw's better chances than actually winning this. If he can just execute a strategy better than Chun here, and of course not fall behind too much tactically, he should have a good chance of sort of beating Chun. But you got Scots on the way there. That's going to help their best. Oh, we finally got to talk to his Recon Support. Rather late choice there for Chun. Could easily benefit from that one sooner. I'm in the airdrop combat group for help for there, but then a tank against paratroopers. At that point, he wouldn't even need it, the captain then. Look at that, Pathfinder for artillery call-ins, Greyhounds for a bit of support there, and of course, you know, cluster bombs. Go up in the centre, taking out the anti-tank gun. Right, anti-tank and 50 caliber machine gun. Nice work there by Syraw. MD4 turning up in the zone here against the advancing captain. Scott on the way, and we've got the Sherman setting up back to Pearsons and the rifleman in the east. Bit of movement here. Stug is still sort of expecting something up in the west, but is sadly not where it's actually needed. Panzer IV getting retreated to Jackson. Jackson, though, does not care about the added armour and easily pierces it with its 90mm cannon. And the East Rifleman pulling up, Pioneers pulling against Rifleman, they're a bit on their own, and there you go, grenade off, forcing a right there from Syraw. In the centre, we finally got the Stug moving up. Pack 4 is also backing up, very good. And in the centre, the troops are being obliterated by withering machine gun fire here from the Stug and the 50 caliber there. Good work there, by the way. The machine gun on the Stug, by the way, more or less is an LMG-42, and we got cluster bombs against it, stunning the Panzer IV, wiping the machine gun crew. Stug moving in here. That Panzer IV is likely not going to make it. Stug getting goes from here to here. Pack 40 is turning about. The other Pack 40 is setting up as well. They're creating an anti-tank kill zone, which Chun could very well find himself a bit wrecked in if he's not careful. So the wreckage of the Panzer IV obscures one of the Pack's line of fire, so that's helpful there for Chun. And the empty falls back. Oh, he does not risk any further. Still taking out the Panzer IV, wiping a bit. Oh, he even got the 2-2 is very good here for Chun. Very good. But fun fact about the M83 cluster bomb, it was a straight up copy of the German butterfly bomb. I remember this because at some point someone complained really had just, you know, ripped it off from the first game. And the thing is, it just made sure to look up, but it's basically a straight up American copy of the German cluster bombs, which is why it looks exactly like the butterfly bombs, because they just copied it. But just a little fun note there. Kamikaze grenades here, center field score for the captain properly as he dodges. We've got another Scott on the way there for Chun. Stug getting repaired, very good. Need to care for that. Captain Stormtroopers getting good kills. We've got 12 kills. Riflemen are dropping like sacks of spoiled wheat. There you go, Sturmgeschütz good to go. He could consider calling another one that will help deal with the Jackson Shermans and for that matter the Scots quite aggressively and effectively. Though of course he might want to go for a Panther 4 to help deal with infantry. Oh, snot biscuits. Half the Stormtrooper squad just blown apart here by the Scot. And it's 75mm high close around there. Panzer fast off. Stug moving up. I mean, so far Syraw's more or less make use of almost the entire doctrine with the exception of the Tiger. Smoke grenade off here preemptively, very nice. Panzer on the way. Comparatively, Chun I think has so far only used the cluster bombs. So there's a bit of a difference there in doctrine usage between the two. Moving up eastwards, wiring off tank traps, very good. Nice map control here by Syraw. Chun, of course, is aggressive as ever. He is relentless. He is a man with a mission. I also believe Chun actually only plays Americans, which is, by the way, perfectly fine if you enjoy that. But it's actually, something like... Oh, cluster bombs, they're taking out the Telemine. Crashing the house, almost wiping out them. Both machine guns there for Syraw. That is quite close to engaging the Scots. Sadly can't quite land a hit there. Victory points was 119 versus 419. There's still a massive gap between Syraw and Chun. Massive gap. Moving eastward to the Pioneers. We've still got one teleman about though. The machine gun airborne has been abandoned and yet to be picked up. Second Panther 4 mobilised there for Syraw and the 352nd Infantry Division. Scots moving eastwards. And there you go, Panzer 4 engaging the hapless American riflemen, routing the GIs. Blasting a few of them as well. And there you go, double Scots are going for the Pioneer. Stuke could move in. They're a bit risky here, to be honest, with Syraw. But sometimes you gotta risk it. And there you go, engaging the Scots. The Scots turn about and seeing the horror they are faced with the mighty Sturmgeschütz, which then proceeds to do quite a bit of damage. Almost taking out one of the Scots. Gets away though. Still halfway to victory 2, but that's not half that. Panzer 4 needs to was Jackson though, that's not something he can face on his own. He's going to need some Stuke support or the Panzer out there Kanone. Storms meanwhile continue to be a bit of a hazard here for Chun's infantry. Their 4G for the free is proving to be a formidable source of death for the Americans. My god, they're supposed to only have 2. Who are these rule breakers? Goddamn Nazis. Now he's got 3G for the frees and a bar. These Stormtroopers have gone through a lot of firepower. Oh my. G43s and bars. 2 G43s now and 2 bars. That's a lot of firepower on those Stormtroopers.
We are losing a sector.
Stu good to go. Victory points wise though. It's still a bit of a delicate situation between Syraw and Chun. Chun going for more Shermans, but he's starting to suffer more losses here. I mean, Syraw, while struggling a bit in the early game, slowly turned around with, I think, better unit preservation, again, an overall better strategy, and in that more defensive tactics. So, good work there by Syraw. Chun probably needs to consider reorganising his tactics and strategy here, and probably flanking more. I mean, he likes attacking head on here against Syraw, and Syraw has been very keen to take advantage on that. That, of course, the increasingly heavily armed Stormtroopers are probably also going to do a bit of a nuisance there. Rather than getting blasted and basically wrapped, we got the Jacks moving up, lines to line of fire the Stuke. We got no packs opening up. To support, they're not within range. Victory points wise, it is continuing to bleed out here for Syraw though. So much army here for Chun. He might want to consider infantry. I mean, at this stage, he could actually consider the airdrop combat group. I mean, he's got plenty of missions, he's got manpower there, paired to a squad with light machine guns could be quite helpful. Put some pressure on Syraw's infantry. I mean, that would be an idea here for Chun to consider, even if he wants to use the cluster bombs. They're pretty cheap. I mean, you can easily afford an airdrop combat group, and even upgrade it, and probably have some issues there for the, the bombs when it comes down to it. But Syraw's defenses are definitely proving hard and hard to crack here for Chun, as they are getting ever so slowly reinforced, and more importantly, trained here on Chun's tactics, which is starting to get a bit more haphazard. He's starting to feel the pressure. He's also starting to feel closer to winning. That's causing, I think, to make some slightly bad calls at times here versus Syraw. Of course, that's something else to take advantage of. There you go, another cluster bomb. This time they're not doing so much. So he's starting to run out of tanks. He's starting to run out of infantry. The situation is starting to look, well, a bit grim possibly for Chun now. Though, of course, he could still win if he could sort of get back the victory points all in one go and just hold them for long enough. Machine gun crew 1, there's an ace machine gun crew there for Syraw and the 352nd. Chun again should consider more flanking, or at least using smoke screens more. I mean, he's clearly shown he can do it, but for some reason Chun has decided that he shouldn't be doing it, which I do feel is a bit of a mistake. But we gotta think about the environment, Carl. You're way too early with that, Ben. You're way too early about that. Kills in those Stormtroopers. More 5th Guards and labour for Chun. Panzer 4 quickly doing repairs, and there you go. We do get a smoke, and even grabs the MG42. Nice work there by Chun. Nice work. Now we'll be locking down the victory points. Can make it hard here for Syraw to gain them back, though the Western one is pretty easy comparatively. No machine guns and other angry Americans. The Scots can't practice important. We got another cluster bomb call in here. Major does rout it. And the Germans are not prevented from grabbing the point. In fact, it might even make it slightly easier for them since the Major ran off. Mega Moon with these. We've got Stormtroopers flanking there, 21 killed, quickly cutting down the 5th machine gun crew there. Punishing them for the crime of using German equipment. Oh, Scott, they almost taken out here, but German anti-tank fire in the east still remains in defense or holding. Oh, got the Scott with one of the Stoogs. There's getting grenaded. And, oh, Stormtroopers almost dropped out with the Scott, need to retreat. Wixoog! Wixoog! Fifth cover covering up there. Stoog rolling in. Needs to be careful, of course. The Jackson can quickly deliver beats to the Stoog because in cautious there. Though, of course, can catch the Jackson with both Stoogs. You have a good chance of them still demolishing that. In this case, there's a pack for the girls of possible back up. So there go Jackson charge here. That's pretty risky by Chun, to be honest. Really risky. I mean, he should be aware there's another Stoog about, and if 2 Stoogs begin opening up here in the Jackson is dead because the Stoogs have a better rate of fire. So there we go. Kaputt. Amerikanischer Panzerjäger. Kaputt. Zerstört. Transforming on the west side. Pioneers need to fall back here. Ralph can defend here. 62 versus 361. Another Jackson away there for Chun. Hopefully not going to get quite discarded like the first one there in the end. Smoke Chun off here. Nice work there by Chun. It actually disables the Panzer one prevents from firing. We got another series of cluster bombs called in. This time on Syraw's main defensive line here by his car point. Ooh, almost got the 5th cover, otherwise mostly blows apart shrubbery. Major gone. Apparently he got hit in the crotch there though. My nuts. Goddamn Nazis. And he's spent for taking a few hits from the bazookas and whatnot. Scott firing. Jackson halfway down there for Chun. There goes Smoke Chun down. Very good. 41 points left here. Syraw probably needs to put more into the victory points. He might even be trying to sneak up Stormtroopers here to get behind the 5th cover and quickly clear it out. He's rushing here for the west side. Stu pulling in aggressively through the center there, looking for the Scott. I mean, you can see Syraw's starting to get a bit desperate here, which is why he's aggressive in the Stooks. They probably should in the less veteran one with, more health, rather than his most veteran Stook with target weight point as well, for that matter. That's probably the thing being a bit too risky there in the east. Moving up, people straight to 5th cover. Okay, could coin Stormtrooper to just pop behind it. 21 points left here for Syraw and the 352nd Infanterie Division. There we go, Batching free on the Sturmgeschütz. Panzer IV Ryan on the scene, shoots and blows apart poor Lenny. And there goes Stormtroopers arriving as well here to immediately seize the point, adding MP40s. 19 points left here though for Syraw, 19 points. Noting by the way, he's got an ace Sturmgeschütz. Wunderbar. Going to use the Scott very close to what you need to. Stormtrooper's not worried about the Jackson. In fact, they're spotting for the Pack 40 nearby, which is forcing away Chun's Jackson. Then we got Chun for the center. West side is being lost as well. Syraw needs to immediately launch a counter. He also needs to grab the point. He's down to 19. Can't really afford to beat up much more. Ace Duke, they were seeing the repairs and needs. Racing's getting blasted by the Panzer IV. There you go. Pack 4 lands another hit here. Needs to pull back with the Jackson. One more hit and that thing's going to go out like a highly volatile piece of fireworks. Storms back at the 5th cover, clearing out the ramp. We got a grenade off here, and that's going to force around here. Oh, close one there, though. A Stormtrooper being forced back in the fire. He's still at 19, but he could easily risk falling behind here. Although Chun is barely holding on at the moment. His forces are tattered, bruised, and beaten. So in the not fully repaired Ace Sturmgeschütz here to pursue the Jackson, put an end to it.
Our supply line's cut. Germans are making a push.
Jackson sweeps away. Scott's firing here.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Bit of shooting here between the 50 caliber and the machine gun on top of the Sturmgeschütz. Centre victim one secured, western one almost secure as well here for Syraw. We got the Stormtroopers there guarding it. Others could stand to reinforce here back at the base. Rolling back the Ace Stooks, it does become an easy target for the Jackson. Very good decision, I have to say, there by Syraw. Another Panzervoid for Syraw. I mean, he's got 2 Stooks, so another Panzervoid to back up the first one is not a bad idea at all. 328 points left here for Chun in the face of Syraw. There you go. Pack Stugum in the Jackson almost got it. Ace Duke, they're taking heavy damage. He's in popping target weak point, which is honestly a bit pointless in some ways, but still, I suppose he might make short. But there you go. That is dead. We got a smoke screen off here though from. Oh, the Scott actually got quite a bit of range on that one. Nice work, but sadly a bit too late here for Chun now. Overall, his assault is faltering at most points. In the west, his Stormtroopers active man to pop a smoke grenade here and get past the machine gun. Nice push that we got the Scott there on the scene.
Points are down to 300.
300 points left here for Chun. Machine about to get wiped with the Stormtroopers with a double bar and the G43. No mercy shown. Machine gun crew executed. Machine guns here being wiped out as well. It's all falling apart here for Chun. Completely getting bled white here. And he lost his remaining squad. He's down to just 2 infantry squads and an anti-tank gun. With that, it is game over. Loss here for Chun. A loss for America. A bloody victory for Syraw. And the 352nd Infantry Division backed up by elements of the 2nd Panzer Division. A brutal fight here, but lots of casualties on both sides. In the end, though, while Chun had a good strong start, his tactics and strategy rather ran out of steam as the game went on. And he, I think, failed to flank more than he... And also used smoke screen, I think, more effective that way, negating casualties while still trying to attack. Instead, he just ended up taking heavier casualties while doing increasingly less and less versus Syraw. So while he was close to winning in the end, his tactics, and I think lack of long-term strategy also, I think, hampered Chun a bit there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell your friends, tell your family. And of course, if you like what I do, you can donate or pledge on Patreon. Consider a little birthday gift for me, maybe. Either way, links are in the video description. Listen, pro links, and cheers. You're all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you tomorrow again for a nice sunny episode. Bye.